Hey everyone, in this tutorial we're covering the Streamwise Desktop Assessment Atlas's basic tools. These are the same for desktop assessment regardless of region. So the first thing you need to do is go to the streamwisechamplain.org website, click on Assessors, scroll down and launch the Atlas, and you can close this Instructions tab right now. We'll go over that a little bit later. The first thing we want to go over is the basic zoom tools. In the top right, there's a zoom in button, zoom out. You can scroll zoom like I'm doing right now, or you can go back to the home view, which takes you out to all of the basins. The search button also lets you jump to a location anywhere in the map. That's in the top right-hand corner here. So we can input an address, hit enter, and it'll zoom down to that address. We can just close that for right now. And we'll just use this field back here to demonstrate some of these tools. Once you've done this, you can close that using the X. So the layers and legend window shows you the layers that you have available, and legend will show you the legend for any of those layers that are currently visible, so what those symbols mean. In layers, we can expand this group like this. This is the regional and national data. The eyeball will control the visibility of those layers. Sometimes you'll see that some of them are grayed out, like when we zoom out like this. Some of these layers will gray out. That means that you're zoomed out too far to see them. If we turn that back on and zoom in, that layer is going to pop up right there. So again, just turn that eyeball off or on as you need. And then you can click the legend again. It shows you this is a wetland area. These are all the different stream types. The base map button lets you toggle between different base map types, so we can just have like an imagery with labels, which is what we're showing here. We can get just an imagery alone if for some reason we don't want street names. We can get a topographic map. We can zoom out and see what that looks like. You get contours and hillshade. Usually the imagery with labels is pretty useful. We also have a measure button. You can measure lines or areas. So to start measuring something, we'll click on this. We'll zoom in a little bit here. Click on the map to start the line. Double click to finish the line. And we can change the units over here. Change it to metric, we can change it to specific units. And then if we want to start a new measurement, just click New Measurement, and we can do that again over here. We can also measure areas, same thing, single click to start, make nodes, double click to finish. We can switch to metric. We can also choose acres or hectares to see what we need to see there. And then to close that out, we can just close this, click that. Let's zoom out a little bit, get a little bit more of a view. We'll turn on the flood hazard areas layer, just have another layer on, and then we're going to go and use this print button, which will let us give a landscape or portrait map. We can show the print area, so that's what we'll actually have printed. You can move the map around as needed to change the print area. And then click the print button and it will generate a map for you with all of these layers and a legend. Be patient, this can take a while. Once your map is generated, you can click on the Streamwise Assessment map. It pops that up. It's fairly basic, but notice we have all of our layers down here on a legend and just a scale and a north bar. We can right click this, choose to save the image. We can give it a name here. Notice that it's a PNG, so it's just an image. And we can save that wherever we want for later upload to the Survey123 database. And that covers the basic Atlas tools.